Why, hello there. I am solo today, but I'm not alone because we have two amazing guests that'll be waiting here. But Erin Fulk has been doing CrossFit now for 4 or 5 months and she hurt her back. So she is resting. So feel free to comment to wish Erin well, but also comment to let us know where you're watching from. If you write something in the chat, we'll probably say it and shout you out. But people that don't have time to do that is Bestway International and Vardy Construction because they're very busy right now. Bestway International is still incredibly bursting at the seams because obviously with tariffs, they are always in demand. Needing to understand when you're shipping something, especially across state lines and for sure overseas, you definitely need to be chatting with them. Vardy Construction is not resting yet. The 2025 winter and 2026 winter hasn't been that bad. So waiting for it to snow a little bit more than a dusting. I think we may have some snow here in the next 3 to 4 days, but again, another dusting. And so again, make sure that you are commenting and we will read it as it pops up. And Erin, as she runs the show behind the scenes, we'll share it. But as we do, no one's here to hear about me blabbering. Usually they're here to have Erin and I talk back and forth. But before we get that going, we want to wait for the amazing music. Paul Fogel, the #1 viewer, watching from the ice planet Hoth. I think I'm not getting that right. I'm dyslexic, so I could be pronouncing it wrong. Our guests are going to have to tell me if I pronounce that right. But with the background music that goes on, I'm going to introduce our guests. Without any further ado, welcome Erin.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here.
And welcome Jeff.
Hello.
Hey there. Did I pronounce that right? Paul Fogel's comment, planet?
Not sure. Wondering if it might be Star Wars, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. So my greatest fear in life is reading in front of people. So that's something that usually Erin takes care of. Erin Fulk. Now, Erin, who are you? What do you do? And how'd you get to Kansas City in 3 minutes?
Absolutely. Well, so excited to be here. My name is Erin Waldron. I am a Kansas City native. So I left for college, lived in St. Louis for a while, traveled for a year, and then landed back in Kansas City. My husband and I are fortunate enough to have 4 grandmas in the metro area. So we were not going to ever have a family anywhere else. So love KC and so glad to be, really back for good. I am a data analyst. So I spend a lot of time with data, a lot of time with numbers. My business is Data Dozen. So I'm a one-woman shop. I'm basically a data analyst. So I spend a lot of time making charts and trying to help folks that are not typically numbers people understand the numbers. So a lot of data visualization, data communication, that's what I do. And then I would say like one other sort of component of my world and what I do is I also run a local group called the Bar Chart Club. So this is a networking group for data people. If you're a chart maker, this is kind of something that we do. We come together 4 times a year for a quarterly meetup. And then we're also having a conference here upcoming in March.
So before taking the entrepreneurial leap, what did you do and what was it like to take that leap? If I'm not going into the next question.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of background before you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I started my company very young. I was only 3 years out of college when I started my company. I was a poetry major, so not at all in STEM, very much identified as someone who was, not meant to be in the numbers world. But in my first job, I was working at a university, working in a graduate school administration. So we had our PhD students going through the whole program, doing a lot of data entry because I was 22 and there for the health insurance, right? And I ended up transitioning into analytics and being able to kind of get a start there. But we knew we were coming back to Kansas City. Kansas City is really the reason I started my business. So we were in St. Louis, knew we were going to come back and decided to go ahead and start a business so that I could leave my job there. And luckily it all worked out. It was a good time to start a business because the stakes were very low. No house, no kids.
Last question before Jeff. Tell us a little bit more about the Bar Chart Club. Were you scared to start it? How's it grown?
It's been the most fun thing I've done in my business in many years. the main goal behind it was I work from home. A lot of my clients are on the coast. But I really do love data people. I love getting connected with them. And so I thought, well, if we could, run out of space once a quarter, would the other data folks show up? Turned out to be a much bigger sort of momentum thing than I thought it would be. We've been at Fire Code for a bunch of different events now. But if you are a chart maker in any capacity, it's a hat a lot of us wear as there's so many numbers around us today. This is a space for you to come together.
Jeff, who are you? What do you do? And how'd you get to Kansas City?
My name is Jeff Miner, and I am a mental performance coach / app builder. And I came to Kansas City about 20 years ago. I was working with athletes, professional athletes, and my wife and I had a baby, and the grandparents are close to here. So that's how I got here.
Very similar. And then, so tell us about your journey in your professional career, which led you to your company and your start to 2026 today.
Love it. So I'm a traditional doc heal thyself. I was an athlete. I was a wrestler. I was really good. I was like 354-0. And
Woo!
I struggled with anxiety so bad. I was throwing up before every match, and I was just hating life. And, I went through and I wrestled high school and I did good, but I still didn't have any fun. Went to college, did pretty good, and still didn't have any fun. So when I graduated, I decided that I wanted to become the guy that I wish I would have had to talk to. I went into sports psychology, decided I wanted to switch and got my degree in counseling. I'm a licensed professional counselor. My first gig was at the Olympic Committee. Then I worked for several professional sports teams on helping them get out of their head trash, their mental space, help them learn like the sports psychology, visualization, and getting in the zone and relax on command and all that kind of stuff mixed with digging into their personal crap and helping them deal with traumas or injuries or things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at up until last year.
So Jeff, I know with you running your own company, there's lots of different buckets of revenue stream, like maybe professional speaking is a revenue stream for you. What are the revenue streams for your business and how you generate revenue for your family?
Well, it's changed a lot in the last few years. It's been figuring out how to create products, how to build things that you can sell when you're not actually happen to be presenting. It's about speaking. It's about, I'm going into schools like high schools, and I'm working with their whole football team, and I'm working with all the different athletics within the teams and all those kinds of things. So I still do a lot of individual sessions, and I'm training coaches how to become coaches and work for me at Triumph. But now things are tweaking a little bit because I'm building an app which is allowing me to scale at a much larger rate.
Now, tell us more about the app and the audience about the app, because you're launching it soon, or it has launched.
It's actually launched, and you can get it for free right now. We don't have our paywall up, and we want people to try it out and see what it's like. So I'll throw a QR code, or I'll give you a connection here in a second for that. But basically, the app is a personal coach in your pocket.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. Thank you, Erin.
She's amazing.
It's a personal coach in your pocket, and it's an app that you can actually talk to, and it will respond back to you in more of a therapeutic way than like chat or those types of things. We've based a lot of it on how I respond, active listening, taking people deeper into their stuff, but we also give them daily mental reps that they can do, like meditation, mindfulness, guided visual imagery. We have a lot of personal challenges. It's gamified, so you can compete against other people. And we've got colleges right now that are signing up. University of Central Florida, their athletic department, we're getting different. So we're getting as much feedback as we can get to make this app as applicable as possible. We've got an advisory group of professional athletes and college athletes and high school athletes that we're trying to make it good, Scott.
Yeah, well, Jeff, I think you're the first guest ever in 6 or 7 years where I think we flashed the QR code. Erin's about to correct me if that's real or not real, but very excited about that. So, Erin Waldron, as we pivot to you, what was the most pivotal moment in your career or moments?
Yeah, I think, again, I came from the humanities side in college. I took a kind of hard left turn into analytics. And I would say that one of the biggest moments for me in my career was I was, 22, 23, right out of school, working as a receptionist in this graduate school office. I was very bored and I was always asking to leave to, go help out somewhere else on campus. Can I walk the composting to the law school? Can I just be away from the front desk? So a software company called Tableau came to campus. Tableau is now one of the softwares like Power BI that I specialize in. And I insisted surely someone from our office needed to be there to take notes, mostly just to get away from the front desk for an hour. And I went to this demo of Tableau showing, these interactive charts. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I had ever seen stats displayed like this, I could have gotten bit by the math bug so much early and the numbers bug so much earlier. And I had this epiphany that, today seems so obvious as a data analyst, but at the time working in an office where we really were tracking student data, one student at a time, retrieve it one student at a time, I thought we could look at all of our students at the same time. So I go running back to the graduate school after going to this demo and went to the dean of the graduate school. So imagine from his perspective, he is a data analyst. He's, the chair of the education department and then, coming in to be the dean of the graduate school. And the receptionist, who's a poetry major, runs up and says, I want to go to data training. And I look at that now and I think, what an incredible thing. He turned to me and said, I will write you a blank check. You can go to as many trainings as you want. If you can get your receptionist work done and lean into the data stuff, I'm here for it. And I had some other incredible colleagues that were all kind of in the right place at the right time. No one said, you can't do this. Everyone said, we're so happy to have you interested in this. And it changed the whole trajectory of my career.
It's interesting. We're about to lose Gen Z on my comment, but Shawshank Redemption is a movie a lot of us know. But isn't that weird? You have to ask to go to the bathroom when you're in your 20s. You're
Yes.
You're an adult and you graduate college. Can I go? Can I leave?
Yes.
So a random comment, but in your group that you run, what seems to be the most exciting projects that you're working on with the entrepreneurs that you're helping?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the folks that are, coming to the Bar Chart Club, some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are working in big organizations where they are, part of the analytics team there. And I think some of the most exciting stuff, the most common sad truth of a lot of reports, charts, presentations with data is that they just end up in the virtual trash can. All of this effort goes into trying to get these things built. And then, someone just sees the email and archives it or kind of glazes over in the presentation. And so the things that are most exciting for me are when there's someone was trying to reach, a stakeholder or someone who's in the audience or a boss or a teammate that sees a chart and they can kind of see it with their eyes closed. Like they see that chart and it sticks with them and then they get it. Like they have that light bulb moment where the data is now actually in their brain and they're making a different decision of how they move through the world with that information. Those are always the most exciting stories that we hear in that community.
Last question for you on this segment. Before you, Jeff, do people hire you externally to teach their department analytics?
Absolutely. So, yeah, about half my business is kind of split half and half. So sometimes folks just need an extra set of hands in the kitchen. They need someone who really specializes in the storytelling or the aesthetics or the visual communication. And I'll come in and do a project consulting sort of setup with them. But sometimes, half the time, I'm there for training. And I'm there as a professional development session for folks that we are just trying to get everyone in the kitchen kind of on the same page about data communication and data visualization best practices. This stuff sits at kind of a weird intersection where you've got art and communication and aesthetics and branding and logic and math all at the same time, and trying to shore people up on either side. We'll do workshops and hands-on creation stuff that's really fun, that just kind of gets everyone up to speed in that data communication space.
All right, Jeff, what was the most pivotal point in your career, pivotal points in your career?
Well, there was there was one very early that I went in and started working at the Olympic Committee as a therapist, but I just happened to get this little gold pass that let me go into every sports psychology session that was my athletes were going in, which was like, oh wow, I'm learning how to be a therapist, but I'm also getting this hands-on training from the world's best sports psychologists in the world how to do that. So that kind of changed the whole direction of where I was going. And I started working on performance and doing a lot more with roadblocks and that when that happened. But lately, I think I found a couple partners. You know, I not claiming to be a brilliant businessman. And I've tried to be a brilliant businessman, Scott, but I really, for some reason, have not carried that gene with me. So what
you are a brilliant businessman.
Well, the brilliance is finding people that are more brilliant in that arena than me. And so I got a couple new partners, and we are working on a lot of changing bigger groups rather than changing individuals. So we're going into colleges and we're working with the app on helping the whole athlete department, the whole college department deal with issues and struggles and challenges. And if they're struggling with emotional stuff, they can talk to this, and it sends you to a person when it gets beyond what the app should be doing.
Are you going to try? I mean, obviously you can work in all different industries. You're going to do a lot of sports, but maybe what are some other approaches that you're looking for to get penetration on your services?
The lawyer arena is loving this idea. It's like they don't have time for coaches. They don't have time for, so you can talk to it any place. You say, hey, coach, I'm struggling with this. Hey, I got this on my agenda. Help me to figure out what to do next. Hey, coach, I'm struggling. I blew 2 shots in the golf round and I'm all anxious now. And it'll say, all right, take 4 deep breaths, do this. And it'll walk you through that with some guided imagery or whatever it is that you need.
I love it. Okay. And so I got to ask you more about your, okay, Jeanette, vital work for grant funders and those getting grant funds, understanding the data and how to tell a story. That is where we get hung up at. Nice job. See, I should not be reading. Like I'm reading like it's a surprise to me. So that's like asking a dyslexic guy to read comments. You're like, what is he saying?
Hey, speaking of funding, we just got the Digital Sandbox grant.
Oh, wow. The selfish question I want to ask, how do people find you to come speak to their groups, and how often do you speak?
Yes, you can contact me. I speak a lot, and some I charge and some I don't. It all depends on the audience and who I'm speaking to. But I usually talk about roadblocks and mindset and getting out of your own way and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the speaking I'm doing is how do you use mindset daily to be able to take advantage of it.
And then do you keep names confidential, or do you ever name drop in your speeches?
We've got 5 colleges right now, or no, we've got one college that's pretty sure, but name dropping as far as who's using the app
or who you've coached,
I can't necessarily do that. I wish I could.
I had to ask because I think everyone in the audience, including myself, wants to be at those those 4 closed walled speeches, so you can hear all I'm sure you've seen a lot in your years.
And I can speak when I have some permission. Like I did work with the Utah Jazz for a while. I worked with several of the Chiefs players. I've worked with a lot of athletes that I just can't speak names to.
Well, it's very interesting. So, Erin, the year's kicking off. It's 2026. Entrepreneurs like you and Jeff, not maybe you have one goal or the word of the year. I'm assuming you have multiple goals. So, what are your goals, and how can Kansas City help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the biggest goal that I'm really focused on right now is we've got a conference for the Bar Chart Club coming up. So this is our inaugural conference. This is the first time we're doing this. We're trying to basically create, thank you, a space for chart makers, for data folks to come together and have some premier professional development in your backyard. Sometimes the data conferences, they're far away, they're expensive. Affording the ticket and the flight and all of that can make those out of reach for a lot of folks. And so we're trying to create sort of some regional momentum here in Kansas City. So if you are a data person or know a data person, that's the way that Kansas City can help. We're just trying to connect the chart makers. You can send them to barchartclub.com. And we've got all of the details there. So we've got our conference coming up March 24th will be all of our hands-on workshops. March 25th will be our actual conference day. If you work with numbers and you try to get other people to understand those numbers, this is for you. And I would say the other thing, on the back end, 2025 was a really exciting year to be able to kind of push down the accelerator, and the momentum has been so exciting. But I also think that after being a solopreneur for going on 9 years now, the systems of solopreneurship are not going to be the systems of the next, decade of business. So systems are really a place that I'm working right now behind the scenes.
So March 24th, 25th, that does not coincide with spring break here locally. Where is it going to be hosted? And tell us a little bit more about the event.
Yeah, so we've got some awesome speakers lined up, some awesome panels. We are going to be at the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. So we've got the full space kind of rented out. We'll have some breakout rooms and some really neat sessions that are lined up. So we've got several panelists. We've also got some great sponsors already signed up and coming together. Playfair Data, a local analyst or analytics shop that also has a phenomenal international reputation, and Porchlight Analytics, Porchlight Insights as well. They are a great local shop that really specializes in government data and survey data. And so we've got a lot of momentum, both being supported by the local analytics community, but also some momentum of getting folks from academia, from corporations, from nonprofits that are already buying tickets and getting going. So we're really looking forward to it. We're getting excited. I'm not sure what happens on March 26th. Once it's all done, I'll make goals for the rest of the year after that date.
Totally good. Jeff, 2026, what are the goals?
To get over 10,000 users for our app, to be able to get into a lot of high schools and colleges and give the athletes the performance skills. This is on the Triumph side. And we want every college in the nearby area to be using our Mindset app. And so that's kind of our goal, is to meet people. We need some funding. If anybody's interested in getting in on a early round of funding, we're looking for that also. But what we need is users. And right now it's free, and go try it. And if you like it, cool. If you really like it, give us feedback and we'll let you use it for free. We just want to make it good.
So, Jeff, for the audience, you've coached people on how to set goals. How should the audience be figuring? And, Erin and I, how should we be focusing on what goals we should be setting, and how do we go about attaining them?
Really, one of the best ways is to be selfish for a little bit and stop worrying about pleasing other people and what I got to do for them and all these things, and say, what do I really want? What's important to me? And then you focus on that, and usually you're able to do the other things because you're feeling better about you.
I love it. Well, one more question. Go ahead.
No, it's just you figuring out, what do I want? And being specific and laser focused on that. If you need accountability, if you need somebody to support you, professional athletes need a coach to go to practice. It's like, why wouldn't we need somebody to say, hey, are you doing what you said you're going to do?
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask each of you one more question, and then Erin's going to get us off as we wave at the camera. But Erin, what was a goal that you had that you didn't think you were going to accomplish? And Jeff, I'm going to ask you the same one. So it can be a quick answer, but what's something you didn't think was going to happen, but you did it?
Yeah, when I started my business, we were in St. Louis, and my husband and I wanted to travel for a year. And starting a business was a way to basically have an excuse of like, I have a job so that we could travel full time. And I thought, well, if it doesn't work out, then, it's okay. I was a poetry major, turned a data analyst. I don't really think I'm going to become an entrepreneur, but it can give me a bridge for a year. And then I'll get a job in Kansas City when we get there, just like I was planning to anyways. And having a successful business that allowed that I can support my family and I can, actually stand on my own 2 feet. That was something that it felt more like a joke when I started it as an excuse to be able to travel for a year. I didn't think it would actually be a long-term plan.
Jeff, what's a goal that ended up coming true?
Being able to scale. I've been trying to figure out how to scale for the past 35 years, and training people works. You can train them, but it takes a long time. And all of a sudden a guy came up and said, hey, I can scale you. And holy crap, he can.
Well, there you go. Well, getting kudos to that guy. Well, I really want to thank Vardy Construction and Bestway International for being good friends and amazing companies that everyone loves in Kansas City. Erin Fulk, who's not here, hoping that she gets better and she's resting and taking some time off from her CrossFit schedule as she scales her company. But as we wave at the camera and we say bye, Erin's going to cut the show off. Thank you so much, Jeff and Erin, for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.